Well, hello, this is Marie-Claude, and I'm with Christina right now. And today we want to talk about with you guys with the color red. Now, not just energy wise, but also how to put it into your house and how to feel comfortable with it. And we're thinking, why red? It's February, it's the love month. Red brings out, the passion in you. It brings out the your feeling of security. Some people see themselves as being type red. I mean, they're outgoing, they're talkative, and so today we're going to be playing with that because it's a good month for it.
Exactly. Like, feel the love, everyone, in February. And you're right, Marie-Claude. It is true. I haven't had many people describe that they're a color, but I do find people, when speaking to me, they will tell me that they are a red person. So, and they don't mean in the color of their skin. They mean simply that to them is all encompassing and that they have a deep connection to the color red. So how does red work like in Reiki? Like, where is red all about in Reiki?
Well, if you look at the chakras, the red is your basis. It's basically going down your legs or in where your private parts would be basically. This is
in your
the
pelvic
zone,
area,
in your pelvic area.
in the center of, I guess, rebirth and beginnings
Yeah,
and passion, right?
so it's pretty much the first one that we have in the body. There's one outside that when you're connected to the Mother Earth, it's more dark brown, almost black, but this one is in the body and it's red. And that's your security, feeling secure in life. So if you don't feel secure in life, you're not necessarily in a place where you can be all of yourself, your whole being. So it's your safety, your security. And if you're sort of out of balance, then you'd be more insecure, a bit more self-pity, less enthusiasm. You'd be less of out there. So that's the red in who you are. So and when you're using red in your place, what for you can it bring?
Well, red is powerful in itself, but it has a lot of historical significance. It has deep roots in culture. And it was one of the first pigments, right, that was also created. So this is where it brings its value. And when we think about red, we do think about richness and money. You were talking about that in the chakras and security. Well, financial security, in cultural context, having red by the door. And I know I use that a little bit when I lived in Vancouver. The culture was there, the Chinese heritage culture. So I did have my little red jar by the door. And that was to bring in some of that energy and fortunes into the home and that sense of security. But red, it draws attention as well, right? It's passionate flowers, red roses, red wine. But it's that warmth that people are seeking. So in our home, red can be a very powerful color. It can be used as an accent, or it can be used to totally make a bold statement.
Yeah, I know that for me anyway. Like my room, there's one house I remember, like I put everything into the orange and the red colors, and it was very like cocooning, and it was like, oh, my place to be myself. It brings up my sexuality, it brings up my whole, that whole aspect. And I also had that like a Chinese red also, but in my where we eat. I like
yes,
living
in your
room
dining
now.
room, in your
My
yes,
dining room. It was my curtains, and it would sort of bring that, even if the rest was more pale, the curtains were really red, and they would sort of bring in the drawing and make us feel very comfortable. So I don't know if that made sense, but it
yeah,
was
it is an intimate color, and its intimacy also doesn't sit with everyone, right? So as we describe red, powerful, and people who define themselves as red, like when you're going into the office or something, you might wear your red suit because you have a huge presentation and you really want to be making that statement. And it's the same in the home. You can make that statement and it can be very powerful. In 2022, the colors are trending more in the earthy reds that you brought up, like the grounding reds that do bring in that brown that moves us into the orange. Like you could even just see, this is actually in Italy. This was a sunset that my husband and we sat at the beach, romantic and intimate. And we watched the sunset in Italy off the water. We were on our own because we weren't in any trendy touristy. And you can see how the hues, so even though like now we're a lot in the terracottas, that doesn't mean that there isn't that moment for red. Like reds can go, like I'm wearing this, has some red in it. But reds can be tinted or toned. So tint, you're moving more in the whites, and then in the tones with the gray, and then those earthies in the brown. So it's the same way as how you're bringing that chakra energy. That's how we can work with reds to bring the balance where someone might be fitting well with the red.
Because like you're saying with the balancing, often when we feel that we don't have the energy, we don't feel that we're, we don't feel secure, wearing red can be a way to help your chakra to vibrate at that vibration. So, having a red stone that you hold in your hands or you wear on you could be a way to help you. Having something in your house that is a good red and you can go and see with your eyes, you're bringing that energy also in. So that's a way just to increase a bit more that color if you feel that you're not feeling like balance in it. But if you have too much, you might want to put some other colors or take away some of it, because I think that can be, you can have also an excess of it where you would have like probably too much energy.
When you think about red too, like if you're looking at primary colors, right? Like when we're thinking of a children's room or a playroom, a school, and dining rooms, right? Like all of these have these really vibrant reds, like as pure to the hue as possible, because they want to drive, because it raises your blood pressure and it increases your, like you get a physiological reaction to the color red. So wearing it, I can see how that can raise someone's vibration and bring that energy. So like if you're feeling down, put on that red so you can have it. But as an interior design, sometimes I could say like, maybe let art lead the room. So maybe in your space, having too much of the red wouldn't be really, because you're not a red person. Just have it in a wonderful art piece. That's something that speaks to you and it draws your eye in. It can be an active color. This is one of the reasons I do actually have that photo here in the month of February, because when I look out, I do have the trees today. They're covered in snow and I'm covered in a blanket of white. And I didn't need any more peace. I needed to find ways to bring my energy up. So when I walk into my office space, I'm seeing these colors that are evoking not only passion, but like a creativity spirit and this warmth to make me want to feel inspired to work. It's an active color. Red is an active color, and it can be used in the bedroom for romance and for intimacy, but it needs to be done in a way that's not overpowering and will not enable your body to relax, to sleep. So we might be looking at a different type of tones that are more or less using some of those grays to be able to bring that deep color in.
Yes, you're right, because we have to really play with those tones and get the right one, that it's not too much, not enough, like, it has to do its work. And it's true, even when we're playing with the reds, I find, there's always, like my son, for one, he was young and my first room was, there was a bit of red accents. And So just for the sleeping, it wasn't really great. So I had to take them down. Like it was too vibrant, I think, for that room, you know. It was good in the
It was
playroom.
raising too much of his energy,
Yeah.
exactly, and
You
it
know,
might
five
not
o'clock
have
in the
been.
morning, he was always up, you know, like not good.
Yes, let's bring some deeper colors, you know, that are less intense, because when you do mute the reds, there could be wonderful. And people often envision like Christmas red, red and green Christmas, but this
Yeah.
is not what we're talking about with reds. But you know, there are individuals out there, and I say more power to them, like that beautiful red kitchen, like kitchen cabinets done in a wonderful lacquer in a contemporary loft space where neutrals are surrounding that space. What a fabulous way to warm up something, maybe with concrete and steel, by having this heart of a kitchen in the middle of a loft, and it's
Yeah.
reflective and it's vibrant and it's red. So that in itself is bold, and it does evoke those strong emotions.
Yeah. And it's good for your creativity. So when you're going to be cooking, you might be more creative and have like spices and
Yes, because
try new things, you know.
it boosts your metabolism, right? So
Yeah.
even in spaces, like if you're recreating spaces in different facilities, maybe for seniors, you may be wanting to evoke some of these historical colors in the right spaces, muted in ways that are not like jarring to their eyesight, but at the same time with enough high contrast, because your eyesight changes as you age. And this is very important. You want to stimulate their appetite. You want them to be able to understand and see the difference between the table and the chairs and the floor and the walls. And what better way than to bring in some of these vibrant colors so that they're boosting their metabolism, and it encourages them to eat and be healthier. So it is definitely an active color.
Oh, that's amazing, actually. When you think, and when you go to centers, sometimes like oh, it's all washed out, you know, in whites or very faded color, and it's like not really interesting. It's like when you go to the hospitals, like some hospital are just plain. And how can you heal when you're in that environment? You know, it's not stimulating, and it's not really resonating within who you are, and it doesn't help you, I find, to be vibrant and
We are
increase
in
your vitality.
many establishments are behind the best practice now, but there are still good organizations and still good residences that are putting this to practice, that have taken all of these wonderful and great design techniques and the theory of color, and they're starting to incorporate. I mean, instead of a white bland wall, why not evoke something for an individual that has meaning to them, right? That evokes something more than perhaps like in a senior's home, there's a time and a period and a place where colors were important to them and that they had an understanding and they became nostalgic for them. So it does evoke these feelings, and red evokes a feeling of desire and intimacy. We think about flowers and wine, but we can also evoke that with these measures in the bedroom or in intimate spaces within your home. I know my husband always wants, he wants his red leather couch, and maybe one day he'll have his red leather couch, but for him that speaks to a time in his life where that is bringing a nostalgia to him, and that would be something that he would want, and that would be like that bright leather back from the 60s, 70s, bringing a bit of that retro vibe, sort of like that red Coca-Cola red fridge and things like that. So it does take you to a time and a place, and red can be anything you want.
Yeah, and I like that you bring that up because we're talking about what's your emotion with that color, basically, when you go back, like saying Reiki, if some people might really hate the color red, you know, in a sense, because it could bring something else into them. So seeing that and going with, okay, why am I feeling really bad with that color? Is there something, can can I see it with neutrality? Can I try to get a relationship with that color? You know, can I start something new because maybe you had an experience and there was red around or something, or even just blood. I mean, for some people that can be very traumatic in a sense, you know. So uh, just play with that and see how you can incorporate and bring that color into your life, um, slowly, but you know, bring it anyway. Like take your time with it, sit with the color. You don't have to wear it. You can just print out a color and just look. You know, like, you know, there's so many ways you can find an object that you find an object that has a red in it, and just connect with that first. You know, and just make a new relationship with it. Basically, if you're scared of that color or something. So you know, you do bring a point that it's always related back to your experience or your relationship with your past, and how we can, you know, bring some feelings of joy or not, like and evaluate that.
Yes,
So
because it is color. Color is meaningful and it's very personal, and everyone's experience with color is different. And that's why I like, as an interior designer, like, yes, you might not like red, it might not be your best color. Well, we can still work with red tones and red tints that are not reading red, and they are still red. So they're still going to drive that energy within your comfort zone. A warm color is simply warm. And who isn't looking for warmth in the month of February?
yeah. Well, I'm glad that we started with this color for this series, and we might go into the other ones as we try to play with the other colors, because the chakras, you know, have 7 different colors, and I think you know, they can be used anywhere. I look
Exactly.
at
And
my house. They
in
can be.
different amounts and so on, always creating that balance and harmony. So maybe if people want to leave in the comments if they're a red person, if they wouldn't touch red with a 10-foot pole, or they're somewhere in between, we'd love to hear. Yeah, just, you know, write it in the comments and let us know what you think about the color red.
Red.
It
Thank
was
you.
a pleasure, Marie-Claude, as always.
You too. I love you.
Bye-bye.